What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the AM, guys. Welcome back to 5-Minute Rants. I'm your host, Mike Labernathy, and welcome back to the show predicated on the journey of life and business. Hey, guys, real quick before we get started, if you know somebody whose life would be changed for the better by listening to this show, would you partner with me and change their life by sharing it with them? I appreciate it. If not, would you guys just rate or leave a review for the show? Thanks, guys. Well, today, guys, I want to talk about leverage. And as a leader, where do you apply leverage in your teams and how to apply leverage in your teams in certain aspects? Before I really get into detail about this, I want to talk about the three main areas in every team where you can apply leverage, okay? First is people. Who do you have on your team? What skill sets do they have? Do you need to better your people? Do you need to bring more people in? That's area number one. Area number two is purpose. Right? What is the purpose of the team? What is the purpose that we're working together in unity and that we're unified behind to accomplish as a team within the company, right? And then the third area is process. Process of how the team functions, the structure and the organization and the business infrastructure for the team to operate in. Simply, if you think about like driving down a highway and everybody has their own lanes, that's infrastructure. All the team knows what lane they need to be in, what their responsibilities and roles are, but they also have freedom of decision and choice making for when it counts. The reason why I'm bringing this up and where to apply leverage is because oftentimes as a team leader, life is not just as simple as, okay, cool, I'm just managing it and it's the same every day, day in and day out. Oftentimes, especially when you are in a newer company or if you're starting a business and you are leading your people, you've got fires to put out, you got a ship that is sinking and it needs improvement, but you didn't do it while you're at dock. So not only are you doing repairs while you're on like sailing on the sea, you're doing repairs right now. You've got to pump water and make sure you don't sink. And then you're trying to do the improvements that you did while you're out at sea. And it's pretty hard to do that sometimes. And when life gets like that, when the processes get like that, when just the company is in a state of, man, life is on fire and I've got to do everything to keep us from sinking, it's very important to be able to prioritize where you need to apply your leverage, okay? And so you got to find out what is on fire, what is the most important aspect to actually build and develop within the team. It might not even be within those three: people, purpose, and process, those three main categories. It might be something that we've got to construct a production constraint and all hands need to be on deck to finish this, to meet our deadlines and requirements so that we don't sink. Okay. And then at the same time, you got to work on the sidelines to better the people and remove this constraint in your life or the process. Because if you've got a constraint as a leader, it's going to be either process or people. Right? It's not going to be your purpose. You're not going to have a purpose constraint. You've got a process or people constraint, and you got to figure out how to solve that. But until it's solved, you're going to have to apply pressure. And so if you think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? I need, and I'm going to add one, air. You don't breathe within 3 to 7 minutes, you're dead. Depending if you're superhuman, hold your breath for 7 minutes, right? You're dead. And then you got water, and then you got food, and then you got shelter. And so if your ship is sinking, everything's on fire, you've got to figure out what your team needs and you've got to categorize that. Like, what happens if I don't do it immediately? What is number one? What is my air? What is the number one task that if I don't get this done, everything is going to die very quickly? Once that's satiated, then you can start thinking about water. Okay. All right. I don't have to just like fight for breath anymore. I'm not drowning anymore. Right. I've made it to land. And then you got to start thinking about, okay, well, I need to find water to live. And that's the same thing. What is that water source in your team? And then you keep knocking one out by one. And it is so important to be able to do this. Again, especially if you're young in business or you're starting or things are rapidly expanding within your company, you've got to be able to maneuver like this while at the same time developing those three areas. Andrew and I, we've had fires before and we've talked and like, hey man, ship is sinking. We've got to build this. We got to put a new sail up. But we got to pump out all the water and we got to fill the cracks in. And you know what? We didn't do it while we were in port. And there's a saying, you always want to change the roof when it's sunny outside, not when it's raining and when it's leaking. When it's leaking, it's too late. And that's part of what we're talking about. But when it is leaking, what do you do about it? How do you actually function in high stress and high prioritization needs as a leader? And that's part of it. Maslow hierarchy of needs. What are you going to die the quickest from? And then work your way up. Anyways, guys, I'm out of time, so I'll catch you later. Peace.